For the first time ever, 3 host countries were chosen to host the FIFA World Cup in 2026. We have Mexico starting off, and they are hosting in Monterrey, Guadalajara, and Mexico City. Then there's the US that's hosting all over in Atlanta, Miami, Houston, Seattle, San Francisco, and even Los Angeles. Oh, and let's not forget the greatest of them all, Kansas City. And then the final country, Canada, in Toronto and Vancouver. So it's going to be a big ol' North American collaboration for this one. And apparently all these cities already have stadiums built. I'm gonna have to try to attend one of these. The largest national park in the EU and France happens to be located in South America. And of course, it is because French Guiana has striked again with the Guyana Amazonian Park right here, which actually extends all the way out deep into Brazil. Can't even begin to tell you how many amazing geography facts comes from this one little place right here. It's kind of like their very own Alaska, if Alaska was located like all the way across the other side of an ocean. Shouldn't be that surprising that this is where the biggest national forest is, though. It's kind of difficult to squeeze these things into this continent. Here's some of the literal translations for Chinese names of European countries, and they might shock you. Just had to add that because it's just said with everything now. Okay, well, this one won't. This is pretty perfect for Iceland. We have Lawland for France, Braveland for the UK, and whatever the hell is going on in Ireland. Moral Land for Germany. Hungary translates to Hun's Tooth Prophet? Okay, that's literally perfect for Belarus. Very Lucky Soldiers for Sweden. And I'm not sure what's going on with the rest of these Nordic countries. Yes, Belgium, home of the Billies. So I guess a lot of this is strange because Chinese doesn't have a phonetic alphabet, so most of these are just trying to use words that sound similar to each syllable. But obviously that means there's not a whole lot of meaning to these. And I thought they were doing some sort of poetry with Turkey's name. I've got a lot of questions too, Bulgaria. Sweden compared to Madagascar. Once again, more geography anomalies. I didn't realize these two countries are almost like the same in length and kind of in size as well, although Madagascar is a bit thicker. What would be the equivalent to these guys in Sweden though? Maybe this thing? Summer breaks on average are about 10 weeks in the US, but what are they like in other countries? Some places got it better than us. But at the same time, some have it worse. England, the Netherlands, and Germany only get a break for 6 weeks. That's like only half of June and all of July. I can't imagine going back to school August 1st. Things get a little bit better in Northern Europe, except if you're in like Norway or Denmark. And they live in pretty good here in this part of the continent, 13 weeks. The Italians and the Russians are chilling for 14 weeks, but no one has it better than the Bulgarians. In certain parts of this country, they're getting 16 weeks off. They'd be like getting the entire months off of June, July, August, and September. Man, I wish I grew up in Bulgaria. I'm gonna just assume that it all evens out here though. If you have a short summer break, there's probably more breaks throughout the year. If you have the long one, well yeah, you're gonna be working that butt off if it's not summer. With that said, percentage of power generation by source. So specifically in North America, we're categorizing this by fossil fuels, nuclear, conventional hydro, and renewables. And immediately you might notice that most states are running off of fossil fuel as like the majority energy generation. Some states are doing a lot better than others though. Specifically in the West, there's a lot more in renewables here. And in the Northwest, this is conventional hydro. This seems to be the big way they're getting their energy. Which, speaking of that, Canada's doing a great job in that category. It's really interesting to see some states and some provinces use just completely different energy types, even though they're pretty close next to each other. The eastern part of Canada is really leaning into renewables. It makes these states really show just how long of a way they have to go. Although the Carolinas, Tennessee, Illinois, they're doing great with nuclear. Which states do you consider part of the South? I've had this debate a lot of times, and I feel like sometimes my answers change. The vast majority of respondents consider Georgia definitely a part of the South. I can agree with that. Although I'd really like to know how much more than Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. I mean, those are really southern states as well. Kind of surprised that Georgia beat out those other three. Then there's these other places that are pretty firmly considered South, like Florida and Texas. Of course, Arkansas, Kentucky, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Things start to get a little bit weird here, though. Pennsylvania is the South? Whoever voted for that, this person has probably never left the state of Maine. But the craziest of all, there was 1% of respondents that considered Colorado part of the South. I don't know about that. So every time I see this post, I wish that we were all defining what the South meant. Like the South could mean just any state that is south of me. Or are we talking about like culturally, what is the South? Because obviously there's a big difference. Always say these four definitely should be considered the deep South. These are southern states. And then yeah, I feel like if you have fought for the no-no states, you probably should be considered the South. But then that means what do you do with West Virginia, Missouri, Kentucky? I can see see why some people think that's the South as well. Also, would we not consider Oklahoma part of the South? I'm gonna leave it up to you guys, but I think it's safe to say Pennsylvania, probably not the South. And then there's the four corners like New Mexico and Arizona, which, wait, what does this map do to, oh, this is an old map. I mean, this is considered the Southwest. I can see why you'd think it's South. Things get really confusing though when this same poll asks people what do they consider the Midwest. As a Californian, I don't think you really want to know what I think is the Midwest, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. I'd pretty much agree with this. Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Once again, Pennsylvania somehow sneaking in there. Although this makes a little bit more sense. I mean, you do border Ohio. I feel like that's a staple of the Midwest, or close to a staple. These three definitely. And then you're also including a lot of these flat states, so I don't really know. I don't know a whole lot about the culture of the Midwest. I grew up in the South. I was born in Alabama. I feel like I know a lot about that stuff. All I know about this place is I do like the accent. I love pointing out when someone has a Midwestern accent. 10% of respondents considered Wyoming to be part of the Midwest. First of all, you're telling me 10% of respondents pretty much believe in a fake state. The highest amount, which is only 81%, consider Illinois to be part of the Midwest. That's the highest? And it was only 81%? I think it's safe to say that a lot of other Americans probably have this same confusion. Like I said, I feel much more comfortable defining the South, not so much this region. I love how Googling the term Midwest gives me a plethora of different definitions and states. So I guess a lot of these places do consider a lot of the flat states like the Dakotas and Nebraska at least a part of this region. I mean, Wikipedia has casted their vote. They are literally saying there are 12 states and Nebraska and the Dakotas are included. Actually, even more crazy, Kansas? I feel like Missouri is more south, but I guess that depends on what part of Missouri. Here's a different type of map for you, a reality map. Why do I feel the need to follow that up with, yeah, you're not the main character? No, at the very top of the map, we have the multiverse and then the universe. Go all the way down to galaxy, star system, planet. Then we get as low as countries and things get pretty interesting, especially considering like everyone kind of names their state or provinces, or I think some places even call it districts differently. It gets really confusing. Then after a state, you pretty much can go down to city, town, or village. Then local community. Is that really how you divide up a city? I feel like neighborhood would be better. Yeah, family or household, then person, organ system, organ tissue, cell. We're going down deep. Oh, we figured out what's like inside atoms. My knowledge is based off of pretty much maybe just these 5 lines. Actually, no, I'm just gonna do these top 3 lines. So we do know that these strings get even smaller. What is that? Do I even want to know? I'm not gonna figure it out. The island of Britain compared to the entire Korean peninsula, unified. Thick Korea with the south and the north. And you actually might come to be surprised that the UK is slightly larger, but it's really similar. And by adding the South Korean population with the north, that's about 75 million, whereas the UK's population is about 67. So once again, kind of similar there too. It's not exact because it's including Northern Ireland, but less than 2 million live there. It's actually way less than I thought. Also crazy to think that these two major cities that are completely different worlds, Pyongyang and Seoul, are about as far away as Glasgow is to Manchester. I mean, these two red cities are pretty far, but it's even closer than that. This just makes me think if the English Channel didn't exist, would they even be half as dominant as they were through history? I think it's safe to say no, because if you know anything about Korean history, I mean, that peninsula was constantly under attack or being controlled by outside powers, and literally only 10,000 years ago, all of this was land anyways. During the Ice Age, obviously this continent looked incredibly different. Crazy how much a little water can do for you. I've always felt Britain was a little bit more equivalent to Japan. Latin American countries are the world's top dog owners. We're actually not just comparing dogs, also fish, cats, and birds. So we've got a chart of a lot of different countries: Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Turkey, UK, Sweden, just name a few. China actually has the most fish owners. Literally could never have predicted that. And then Turkey here has the most bird owners. South Korea comparatively doesn't like birds, I guess. I did hear this before. Russia has the most cat owners, and then Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina with the top 3 spots for dog owners, although the US is pretty close behind at about 50%. Poland as well. Poland has a lot of dogs and cats. France loves their cats as well, I guess, just as much as Russia. Or sorry, I should say almost as much as Russia. Another interesting thing to compare is what countries have more dogs than cats and vice versa. Canada, Belgium, the Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, just to name a few. There are more cat people over there. All the fish and bird owners are way down on the list compared to the other ones. Automotive battery life expectancy. So how long will your car battery survive, I guess? In the northern states, you can expect 4 to 6, but not necessarily. Like in the East Coast, it's much lower. Well, not much lower. It's like 4 to 5, but I'm assuming these states drive a lot more. Could that be the reason? Like it's more rural, so longer drives, more, I don't know. Oh no, not car stuff. Like these people have a higher chance of maybe just like having their cars sit, I would assume, because there's other modes of transportation. I don't know. That's my only guess. In the yellow, we have batteries that probably will last 3 to 4 years. And all the way down here, batteries on average are lasting 2 to 3. So apparently heat is clearly having an impact. I actually thought the opposite. I thought it was cold that would degrade your batteries more often. Just make me kind of paranoid. I haven't changed my battery in about 4 to 5 years. And big thanks to the patrons. My name's Joe Biden. I love being Joe Biden. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the Catfish. Drew's Argentinian Grandpa. Fatnuts.
aPhatNarwhal.
Barnsky W.
bringbackpolandball.
LuxembourgLover.
Cowboys83.
Jakov Bruney.
Marco Hindera.
Max Cooper.
Ortin
Philipp
5610.
RF. Robert E.
RyeThePie.
The Mexican 760.
Why am I doing this?
William the Conqueror. And Subar A. N.